And it is my pleasure to introduce now our guest speaker, Wendy Young. So I have had the honor and privilege to get to know Wendy in a couple of different circumstances, and she's been such a fantastic person to meet. She is one of the two leaders of research, and she is a chemist, which I have a natural affinity for since I trained as a chemist also. She has had many successes within the company, and above and beyond that, she's just a fantastic person, and I know that you'll be getting a lot out of her presentation and her description. So with that, I will turn it over to Wendy.
Thank you, Eric. That's a wonderful introduction. So I'm here today with you all this morning. I'm excited to talk to you all about the power of gPODs. And we all know that it takes a village for something very important to happen, or a gPOD. So my career journey has been filled with many different gPODs. Maybe some of you will remember that last year, March of 2020, was actually International Women's Month. And what I'm showing here is the cover of the ACS MedChem Letters Journal. That month, they put out a special edition to commemorate the event, Women in Medicinal Chemistry. And all of the women shown here on this cover were first authors in this dedicated issue. And I was really pleased. We had several Genentech scientists, first authors. And they also asked 4 women, and I was one of those women, to contribute a career journey article to the journal. So I titled my article, It Takes a Village, Friends, Mentors, Colleagues, and Family. And those are my gPODs. And right here is a house that I spent the summers in. I grew up in New York, but I spent the summers in Maine in this house. And this house has lots of windows to bring in light, just like gPODs to succeed. And you really need a lot of light to succeed in your career. And mentors, colleagues, professional organizations, and coaching can all bring light in. So here is my article. And in the paper, you'll see in blue boxes, I included quotes. And these were quotes that punctuated different chapters of my career. So I'm looking forward to sharing some of them with you. So the first quote is from Isaac Newton. If I've seen a little further, it is by standing on the shoulders of giants. And I've certainly stood on the shoulders of many giants. This is Hugh Davies. He was my first chemistry professor at Wake Forest University. So, and trust me, he was a very patient man. He taught me all about organic chemistry. And it's really as an undergrad that I learned my passion for chemistry. I then went on and I worked for Ted Taylor at Princeton University, where I got a PhD. And Ted was a giant in heterocyclic chemistry. And in his lab, I had the absolute pleasure to work on a project team that eventually it launched a drug in collaboration with Eli Lilly. I worked on this project. The drug is Olympus. It's for mesothelioma, which is asbestos poisoning of the lungs, which causes cancer. And interestingly, at Genentech, we co-dose a lot of our experimental clinical oncology candidates with Olympta. And the third giant that I worked with, this is Samuel Danishevsky. He was an amazing mentor. And we studied at Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center in New York City. And he was a joint appointment with Columbia University. While I was in Sam's lab, we worked on the total synthesis of Taxol, which is another chemotherapeutic for breast cancer. Fast forward to 2006, when I joined Genentech, I quickly went out and found my pod of colleagues and close friends that I could confide in, share, learn, and grow. And these people were actually absolutely invaluable for me to get off to a solid start. And I connect with all of them still to this day. And then today, I constantly lean and look to the support of the GRED LT. which is now being led by our new GRED leader, Aviv Rajev. Michael Jordan said, talent wins games, but teamwork and intelligence wins championships. And I certainly worked with so many amazing teams at Genentech. And one I would like to highlight is the BTK Research Project Team, which I was the PTL of for 7 years, 2006 to 2013. And I will say that this was one of the best journeys of my career. So here on the left in the yellow box is phenybrutinib. Together we discovered this molecule. I'm one of the co-inventors of phenybrutinib. And it's just amazing to see that this molecule has moved into quite a few clinical indications, lymphoma in oncology, rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, urticaria, which is a fancy name for hives. And currently it's in phase 3 clinical trials for a very serious disease, multiple sclerosis, where there continues to be high unmet medical need. And this was my BTK gPOD team. We had a lot of fun together. When we could congregate, here we are wearing our BTK Giants t-shirts at AT&T Park for a game. Your network is your net worth. I think about this one a lot. So this is a story that is really fun to share, and this is how I got to Genentech. So here's a picture of Mike Varney here, who many of us know very well. He was the former head of GRED. And in 1994, many years ago, he came as an invited lecturer to Princeton University, where I was a graduate student. And I did attend his lecture. It was absolutely fantastic. And I had the honor of taking him out to lunch with some other students. And we had a really strong scientific connection, and I was very impressed with Mike. I was also very surprised and pleased when a few years later he called me up and he said, "Hey, Wendy, I started a company, Agaron, a structure-based design company in San Diego. I would love it if you would join us." And the time wasn't quite right then. So about 15 years later, I called him up when I found out that he was going to join Genentech and build the small molecule organization. So I called him up and I said, "Hey, Mike, I don't know if you remember me, but I would love to come and join you at Genentech." And the rest is history. But what I could totally share is that you really need to build your network, because every single position I've gotten was because a connection got me noticed. So build your network. Professional organizations is another way to build your network. I am a chemist, so I joined the American Chemical Society. And the ACS currently boasts 157,000 people in their gPOD, and it is the largest professional organization in the entire world. So I became heavily engaged and participated in the ACS for years. And in 2017, I was elected the chair of the division. And it's been a wonderful opportunity. I have met amazing scientists I would not have otherwise had the opportunity to meet. I was able to hone my leadership and speaking skills, and it's just been tremendous. And because of all this, last year, I was asked to join and be an editor of the premier journal in medicinal chemistry. It's called the Journal of Medicinal Chemistry. And I chose this cover to share with you because back in March of 2018, this is where we published the discovery of phenybrutinib, and this is an artist's rendition of phenybrutinib on the cover here. Oh, this is another fun story to share. So when I was elected national chair in 2017, I thought it was wise to see who else had been elected chair. And I quickly learned that in the over 100-year history of the Medi division, I was only the 5th female to ever have been elected. So I looked around and I noticed that another woman, this woman here, Donna Hearn, had also been elected. So she didn't know who I was, but I called her up and I said, "Donna, we got to meet." So here we are. We met in Philadelphia at our first ACS meeting as chairs, having a glass of champagne. And we said to each other, "This is crazy. How could we've only be so few women. Where are all the women? So we wrote an article together that was published in 2017 called Medicinal Chemistry, Where Are All the Women? And I will tell you that when we put this together, I had no idea the visibility that this article would get. It has been downloaded so many times and keeps getting referenced and tweeted all over the world. So that's been nice. It's really important to always continual personal and professional growth. And another way to do that is with mentors and coaches. This woman here, Jean Ott, is an amazing woman. She was one of my early mentors, and unfortunately, she passed away last year. She's an icon in women's leadership. She formed and built Women Unlimited, a very well-known leadership organization for women. I recommend and I send, and I know many Genentech women have participated. I included the URL down here, so if you want to look it up, check it out. But I will tell you an important tip that you got to make sure you include that hyphen between women and unlimited, or you'll end up on a very different unlimited site of women. It's important. Okay. Today, I have an amazing coach, Fran Zone, who has been a terrific inspiration to me. She has lifted me up in so many ways, personally and professionally. Fran Zone is a coach of many other Genentech employees and global leaders. She is an internationally recognized speaker and leadership coach. She also has an amazing network. And I've been lucky because she's shared her network with me. Her very good friend is Jackie Speer, our California Congresswoman. And so I've had the opportunity to meet Jackie a few times now. And I did just learn that Jackie has brought the Equal Rights Amendment bill back to Congress 2 days ago so we can finally get this signed. Fran is also very good friends with Gloria Steinem, who is an icon in women's leadership. And I had the privilege of talking to Gloria a couple of years ago. So again, keep a strong network. It opens up so many doors and brings lots of light into your career. Sheryl Sandberg said, the single most important career decision that a woman makes is whether she will have a life partner and who that partner is. So here is my life partner. This is my husband, Mark Convery. We met in 1990 in graduate school, and he is the whole reason that I am now in California. I moved from New York. He works at Stanford University. He's a high energy physicist. We have 2 young children. Here's a picture of them back in 2005. We were at Disneyland. And here we are today, all grown up. The young man on the right is my son, Owen. He is a sophomore at UC Santa Barbara and majoring in electrical engineering. And his brother to his left, Carson, just got into his first pick college. We're super excited. He got into Columbia University, early decision. So I'm very excited to go visit him there and go back to my old stomping ground. So this is my family, my gPOD that provides me amazing support in so many ways. So I'm going to finish here by sharing some more quotes that were in those blue boxes in my paper, because they bring me a lot of inspiration. I love quotes. I love mantras. So hopefully you'll gain something from some of these quotes as well. John Lennon said, life is what happens to you while you're busy making other plans. And that sure is the truth. So as you move forward in your career, always be flexible. It's very difficult to plan everything out. Margaret Atwood made a real power statement here. She said, we still think of a powerful man as a born leader and a powerful woman as an anomaly. I think that's a terrific quote. And at Genentech, we're working to change that. Mark Twain says, find a job you enjoy doing and you will never have to work a day in your life. And I certainly feel that about my career and working at Genentech, and I hope many of you do as well. So here's one of my quotes. And early on in my career, I was often very scared to ask for things. ask for permission. I was afraid of getting no's, but I quickly learned that if you aren't getting any no's, you're really not reaching high enough. So ask for things you want. You may get no's, but I guarantee you will get a lot of yeses as well. I love this one. To be a leader, you must have followers. Unfortunately, a lot of people forget that. Rollo May said, the opposite of courage in our society is not cowardice, it's conformity. And this reminds me all the time that it's really important as leaders that we're brave. You need brave leaders in order to drive hard change. And the last quote is from Maya Angelou, who I often saw around campus. She was a professor at Wake Forest University when I was there. She said, I am a feminist. I've been female for a long time now. I'd be stupid not to be on my own side. So what that means to me is that you need to be your own best advocate, and clearly joining a gPOD, you are being an advocate for yourself. So enjoy your gPOD experience, let a lot of light in, and share a lot of light with others. Thank you.
Thank you, Wendy. That was such an inspirational talk, and I love the value that you found throughout your career of finding those pods.